Welcome back to Outdoors Actual. I'm Austin.
I'm Ben.
And today we're picking the old Indiana Coyote Masters brain about how to kill these song dogs.
Stop it.
So, Ben, I'm going to kind of ask you some questions. For those of you that don't know or whatever, Ben's this is his kind of main big hobby. It's his kind of arguably biggest passion probably in the outdoors.
If I could only do one hunting forever, shockingly for me to say, because I've only been doing it for about 2 years, it would probably be coyote hunting.
More than deer?
Ah, man, I don't know. It's up there. I don't know. It's way up there. I really like it.
Yeah.
I really like it.
So I've only killed a couple in my entire life, but a couple years ago, Ben got on this whirlwind of it, and it's been cool to watch it. So I guess we'll start. When'd you start doing the whole nighttime thermal coyote killing deal?
My buddy Mark got into it before me, and the first time I saw his rifle, I was like, "That's really cool," but I just don't see spending like the money it takes to get into nighttime coyote hunting.
That's where I'm at right now.
Yeah, and it's tough when your best friend has all the stuff too. But
Yeah.
I'll just use yours.
Yeah, true.
But the first time I went and I actually saw a coyote come out, and it had no idea we were there, and just hammered it. It's pretty. The first time you really get it done and see it, it just builds and builds. And
yeah,
I've been doing it for about 2 years now. I shot my 77th coyote a couple weeks ago. I haven't been out in a while. Season's kind of dying down.
What are you gonna do for your 100th coyote?
I don't know. 100 coyote party. I'm just gonna eat it raw.
Just skin it and put it over a spit over a fire.
Yeah, make it. Yeah, exactly.
Just tear the crack.
Just throw the old Traeger in there. Just put an apple in its mouth.
What is this?
Delicious. People eat them things on Facebook. It's still an animal. You still no. That's a nice thing.
Tasty.
Delicious. The delicious coyote. It's
back straps for days.
Yeah, it's like when you're deer hunting, you shoot a deer and you're like, all right, well, now the work begins. But for coyotes, some people want you to take them off the land. Some people not. Sometimes you throw them in the woods. Sometimes I got a big old pile of skulls and bones out there in the woods.
Yeah.
That's nice about it too.
For people, I do know a little bit about this, I guess, but for people that have no idea, and for some people that really see, they'll see a video of a coyote, a pup, and they're like, oh, it's a dog, and they'll feel like maybe we can elaborate a little bit on how destructive them dang things are.
Yeah, we put a short up and just got hate. It got a bunch of views, but it was a compilation of a bunch of coyotes, and people just think that they're these beautiful animals running around eating mice. But if you YouTube, coyote attacks child, coyote attacks dog. I mean, they especially farmers out here, they lose lambs and calves, and they're bad for deer population. They're just bad. I get it. I'm a dog. I have 3 dogs. I get it. But it's every
90% of the things we hunt, coyotes eat. So that's what my thing. It's I love to turkey hunt. I love to quail hunt. I love to deer hunt. I love to I don't really rabbit hunt. It's kind of a lie, but a lot of people do like to rabbit hunt. Coyotes eat all them things, and they'll wipe them off the face of the earth.
Well, when you remember at the farm, you were turkey hunting that one time,
and coyote came out and hit my decoy. Yeah. They'll kill them if they can, and not to mention the farmers' things. We have cows, and they'll get after calves. I mean, they're a nuisance. You can say, "Oh, that's so cruel" or whatever, but when 2 coyotes are ripping apart, as it's still alive, a baby calf that is going to grow to be a really couple 1,000-pound steer one day. Not only is it expensive, a lot of money lost, but it's sad. Yeah. I don't want to see a calf or a cute spotted little fawn just getting eaten from its tail to its head. That's awful.
That's worse, I think.
So
there's a lady down the road actually that she's just this nice old farmer lady, and I asked her, I said, can I hunt your land? That's a nice thing about coyote hunting too, is you can get permission. I'd suggest, I'm not saying suit and tie, but put on respectable clothes, shave, get a haircut, knock on the door, and most people will say it's coyotes only, it's nighttime. You won't see us. I got silencers on all my rifles. You won't hear us. You won't see us. It's coyotes only. The only reason I'll go deep on your land is if I shoot one to go retrieve it and bring it back. And in Indiana, it's mostly fields anyway. So, but this nice old lady, she said, coyotes only? I said, yes, ma'am. She's like, you shoot every one of those bastards. It's like,
Yeah,
yes, ma'am.
yeah.
Like, so even nice old ladies
Yeah,
like coyotes.
that's how grandma feels. I mean,
Yeah.
whenever you tell grandma, like, grandma, I just shot a double tonight, you know, if you tell her the next day, whatever, she's just like, oh, you know, she's so excited. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the grandma thumbs up.
Yeah.
Big morale booster.
Kill as many as possible.
Exactly.
Oh, that's awesome. So what was the first gun you used for it, and kind of what's your there's like a ton of opinions of it, like,
yeah,
mine being a don't really do it ever. Like, if I were to do it, I would probably just take my M4 out there and do it because it's like the most available thing. But what'd you start with, and what'd you find, where you at now, and what'd you figure is the best caliber for this whole thing?
So I started with 300 Blackout because I don't have a 5.56 AR. I have
is that six? You don't?
No, I don't own
like
A5.
Right now, you don't.
I do not own A5. I don't. I don't. Know that. All mine are. I have 7 300 Blackout rifles. I like. All mine are 300 Blackout. We are building a 224 Valkyrie AR right now, but
you already have one.
Well, yeah. Well, daytime.
Oh, sure.
You gotta have a daytime.
Sure, you do.
It was really spare parts. I had the barrel, everything is like throw it together. You got another AR, but I started with 300 Blackout.
Okay.
And you can buy the 110 grain VMAX 300 Blackouts, but when you get into that 250 to 300, they just die.
Yeah.
And I mean, it'll knock them pretty hard.
When you say they just die, what do you mean? Because what do you mean when they say they just die? Some people might think the coyote just dies or something. Talk about the bullet.
Oh, the bullet. So like the big thing about a varmint round, I think, is speed and drop. You want to be able to go 300 yards with as little drop as possible. And those 300 Blackouts, when they hit like 220, they'll drop between 220 and 300. They drop like 26 inches or something. So
that's not good at all.
If you're adjusting on the fly and you're seeing a coyote, it might be 220 or 300.
Yep.
It's not with the rounds I chose. That thing, you just miss them. And you start later in the season after they've been shot at, because coyote hunting is getting real popular real fast. You'd miss them, and I'd go out and you go out in the freezing cold and buy all this stuff, and then you miss a coyote at 280 yards or 220 yards. Yeah. It starts to get frustrating.
The couple times I've went with you, that's the thing I noticed. Like, it's point and shoot with the crosshairs. It's not like a scope that has like a BDC drop or anything. Right. You know, it's like you just put the crosshairs on and shoot. So if there's a big drop, you're not thinking Kentucky windage when you're out there doing all that. Yeah. I've only shot a couple, but the times I have, you're not thinking like, oh, you're just so excited to see it in that thermal, and like you just put the crosshairs where you want it and you pull the trigger. Like, if there was any drop, I would have been screwed, because I don't even think like, oh, it's 250 out there. I better put it above its shoulder. You don't. At least I didn't. I didn't think about that.
I mean, that is nice to know. It's just like any hunting. It happens so fast. Any one less thing you have to think about quick is very nice. So I started with the 300, and then if I had a 5.56, I would have started with that. But since I didn't, I started with 300, and then we got into 224 Valkyrie, which is basically a 5.56 Magnum. That's what my go-to is. So and I'll take a picture of these and put them in here so you can see the size difference. But we got 22 250, 224 Valkyrie, and then 204 Ruger. So that's it's not steel case, it's brass. It's just been in a magazine, and a suppressor just dumps gas down it so it looks dark. But that's basically a 5.56 Magnum. It shoots a 5.56 bullet just 200-300 feet a second faster.
Okay, so it's up in like the 3,300 realm.
It's I should have got that box over there. I want to say 36, 37.
Oh, so it's pretty
piss
quick. Missile. Yeah,
it's a piss missile. This is bad right here.
This is Val Kilmore?
This is Val Kilmore. This is this was actually it's a Barrett Rec7. It was a 300 Blackout, and then I rebarreled it into a 224 Valkyrie. All you need to do
I didn't know that.
Yep. Oh. All you have to do to swap it is put a different bolt face in your bolt and then a different barrel, and you got a 224 Valkyrie. It takes 5.56 magazines.
This is the only gun I've ever killed. He gives this to me when we go out and I kill with. It's awesome. That thing is a tack driver.
It's a beast. I've shot 90% of my coyotes with this. It's got the HaloXRF on it, which is my favorite thermal, hands down. Triggers are real big in coyote hunting because you're making those 250, 300 yard shots.
Trigger, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's got the Geisley SDE in it, so it's a 2-stage. And once you come back and it hits that last little wall, the minute you just pull it over, it clicks. But that's we Cerakoted.
By the way, we cleared this rifle before the video.
Yeah, we did.
It's for all you hard dogs out there saying, "Oh, triggered." We cleared it right before this video.
I started doing that in some of our older videos. I get it, but people would be commenting that, so I started jokingly. Every time I clear a video on camera, I just put it on fire and go, and pull the trigger and I click. I did it with the Barrett. I was like, please don't click. Yeah, that's the 224 Valkyrie, Val Kilmer is its name. But that's Bay right there. That's my one. If I could only have one, that'd be it.
That's
there.
A dandy.
Yeah.
So then, after the old 224, I remember you kind of talk about this. You like, once you killed, I don't know, however many, 20, 30, whatever. I remember you kind of like, okay, the next challenge is the bolt gun. The
bolt gun is so fun. I'm not gonna be like the overly calculated. Like it's too easy, but there's something about especially shooting running coyotes
with multiples.
Yeah, shooting a bolt gun is really, really fun, and you can get into like the bigger bullets.
And you're the sniper in the bell tower.
And I'm a sniper. I'm basically Private Jackson up there. yeah. So it's my 22-250 is right here. This was a very painful gun. So this is a Christensen Arms 22-250. This rifle has been it's been ridiculous to build. The chassis came off of my buddy Mark's. He had it was either 308 or 6.5. I think it was a 308 is how he got the chassis.
Okay.
And then he sold that and swapped it to a 6.5. Basically how I built this was, when I got it, it was a 243 with this chassis. So then I had to go to Highsmith, and he ordered me just a Christensen Traverse carbon fiber barrel in a 22-250. I put this barrel in action in the chassis of the 243 with the 243 barrel on the stock of the.
That's right.
And then sold that. But this is awesome. This has the Pulsar XG50 on it, which I don't know if they're gone or not yet, but right now on Euro Optic, these were, when they first came out, they were $7,000, and the new one's out with a rangefinder, so these are down to like 3,300, which pissed everyone off. But that's how this whole rifle came to be, because this scope will be worth, even when they're sold out, and this scope will be worth $4,500 in 3 years.
I just noticed that bolt is all like fluted or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Like, holy smokes.
She's pretty. They're real smooth. It's really light.
Let me play around real quick.
Yeah.
Woo.
Yeah. The 22-50s are serious.
Goodness gracious. That is a rocket ship of a round, dude. It's so fat and so tiny.
It's so tiny. It's a true piss muzzle.
Oh, man.
The 22-250 is a real flat shooter. It's 3.5 inches of drop. If I can find it, if they make it, I do the Hornady Superformance varmint rounds.
Okay.
So this is I believe it's a 50 grain going 4,000 feet a second. It's this thing.
So that's literally it could go a mile in 2 seconds.
I mean, it'll slow down, but yeah, I mean, it's a screamer, and I mean it. Even though they're coyotes, you still don't want an animal to suffer. I mean, this thing,
you want to knock it on its ass.
Yeah, you smack a coyote with a 22-250. I mean, it goes from not knowing it's hit to dead in 15 seconds.
Which, another aspect of the whole, like, oh, whatever. Like, would you rather something get its vitals exploded by a literal 4,000 foot per second grenade, or would you rather it get mange and starve to death and get eaten by all its buddies and birds?
Exactly.
Like, I don't know, take a pick.
Lay out there and suffer.
Yeah, personally, there ain't no sense in anybody against varmint killing. Varmint killing is literally amazing for the entire environment. Yeah. And in Indiana, there's no predators for coyotes.
No.
So they can just populate as much as they want. There's zero predators for them. There's not mountain lions, bears, wolves, nothing. It's they're the top dog.
Cars, that's about it.
Yeah.
Before I set this down, the last thing I'm going to say about it is the chassis actually collapses too. So if putting it in your car, like the handle fits right through there, but even though it's only that much shorter, put it in your car or carrying it with a sling when you got a tripod, everything else, it does make a pretty big difference. But that's the 22-250. We Cerakoted that one too, and I really like how the Cerakote job came out on it.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. That's a hell of a rifle.
She's pretty.
I can't imagine getting shot at with that thing and like you missing and like hearing it like go by you, just like
it's a screamer. Obviously you don't hit every coyote because you start getting into these things. I mean, I've thrown them I think the most obnoxious shot I took was like 707 yards at the Val Kilmer has a rangefinder on it, and I just kind of like call that 5 feet, just held it up there and you shoot, and just kind of like, what was that?
Yeah.
Speaking of wounding them, though, I will suggest this too. A 22 pistol. And the reason, with a light on it, but the reason I will suggest this is there was one time I had the bolt gun and I shot a coyote and it rolled. It was running. I shot it, rolled, and I was like, sweet.
Laid there.
Yeah. I left my rifle on the tripod and walked up to it and
had that?
No.
Oh.
No. This was before I had this.
Oh.
So I've got my scanner with me and I'm like looking, I go to right where it was in a cut bean field and it's gone. But I shot it 10 feet from the wood line.
You hear something behind you, turn around, it's just it's stalking you. The predator becomes the prey.
Oh my gosh. But it was kind of like that because I'm standing on a tree line. I'm going like this with my scanner. Where is this thing? And I look and I just see a triangle 10 feet from me. And it's sitting up, sitting up looking at me. And I'm just kind of sitting there. I'm like, oh my gosh, like there's a wounded coyote sitting there. So I had to walk back, got the bolt gun, came back, and it moved again. And I found it. And when I got real close to it, and right before I shot, it snarled. It didn't come at me, but it just lunged at me. And so after that, I would highly suggest a little 22.
Or any kind of pistol. I mean, the 22 is nice because it's so quiet, obviously.
I do. I put subsonics in it, which actually won't cycle through. But you can, again, with the light and everything, you don't want to be a problem on people's land.
Right.
You'd rather them not hear a gunshot at 2 a.m. if you're out there or something like that. So,
yeah.
That's a good one. Then the last caliber is actually, I only have a daytime caliber right now. This is a really sweet little rifle I got at Highsmith.
That's right.
Just a Ruger American 204 Ruger, Trijicon scope on it.
Ruger American's awesome. I have 2 Ruger Americans. I got one in 30-06 that I killed Girth Brooks with, and then one in 350 Legend that you got that too in 350 Legend. That Ruger American, man, I'm telling you, bang for your buck. It has this little like 2-stage little trigger deal or whatever. Like, it's a dandy of a cheap rifle. Oh yeah, I mean, it's awesome.
That's what we both have 350 Legends.
And it's free floating barrel too. It's a free floating barrel in that stock, and
that's the whole, like, this is a true like hunting rifle. It's like we talked about in the last one. I am a firearm collector, and that's how I justify. Like, I'm very bad at I have to have a nice one,
right?
But as far as a hunting gun, especially, I mean, what more do you need? It's dead accurate. This is the 204 Ruger. That's a 32 grain bullet going 34 or 4,300 feet a second.
That's the fastest you have. That's the fastest you have.
That's the fastest bullet. That thing is just, it's stupid.
It's fast. A screaming meaning.
It's a screaming meaning. Yeah. But this is the daytime. All my rifles have, this is the Chimera. And all of my rifles I'm all silencer co. I actually have a Gemtech actually, but
liar.
And a dead air. But
so like usual, incredible brand integrity.
So actually, never mind. I have 6, I think, silencer codes, and they're very, very durable, and that's such a lot of powder burn coming out of there.
Chimera, by the way.
Chimera.
Chimera.
Goddamn Chimera. Those are the Coyote rifles, and I'm not like a crazy prepper by any means. But I also
talk about this a lot.
I don't have a ton of faith in. Joe
Biden.
Joe Biden. Yeah, basically society
in general. It's a bad thing away, as we saw with COVID. It's a bad thing away from us packing the families up and heading to the fortress.
Yeah. So there's that side of it too.
Yeah.
If we were ever where we're gonna go,
solar panel chargers and thermals and nighttime. Oh,
I have a fold out solar panel that I can plug the chargers into, so I can literally lay it in the sun, charge all the batteries, and always have thermal power. But you can, honestly, you can see a field mouse at 400 yards run across a cut bean field.
It's the craziest thing I've seen. That's amazing.
You can stand at a field 1,500 yards away and go, there's 4 coyotes in the trees. That's probably a possum. There's 6 deer over there. So.
Yeah, you can absolutely see 4 rapscallions coming up through the fields that come take over your house and kill your family and steal your stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So they're twofold. Well, 3, I guess. Defense, and if it's win.
Yep, it's not if it's win.
Coyote hunting for sport, and then also just like defense.
Yeah.
You know, and food. Like if you're starving, you go out there. Which is funny about the whole deer versus coyote thing, because you always assume, like when I was deer hunting growing up, you would assume that if you're bow hunting and you see a coyote run onto your stand, you're like, hunt's over.
Yeah.
Hunt's over. Great. Well, hunt's over. I might as well shoot this coyote. But you'll see 3 does standing out there, and you'll see 2 coyotes just run straight in between them.
We see it on the trail cameras all the time.
They don't even give them a second thought, because they're not going to, like a fawn, but a group of does standing together, they're not going to mess with.
The doe will kick the holy hell out of a coyote.
They will, because there's going to be that guy. It's like, they will, but more often than not, they're not, if they're coming to a call.
Right. Yeah. You might not like this. I know we didn't talk about, we were talking about how we're, planning on, let's do a coyote video, but let's pick your brain a little bit of how you get these jokers to come in, man.
So this is what we remember years ago. We were deer hunting somewhere, and we bought like a coyote call.
Oh yeah,
we're like, let's coyote hunt. We sit out there and swing, and just
cottontail forever
for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Ryan Stewart, who is in my cell phone as Coyote Jesus, he worked with a guy that I used to work with, so we kind of had that connection. But when I was learning, I would pick his brain. He's like Game Genie for Nintendo. Like, I mean, he would tell you anything.
Left, right, down, A, B, circle.
Selects there. Yeah. So he was really good at helping me out. But it's all, you kind of pick everyone's brain and make up your own thing. But I think what most people mess up is they go too loud and they go too long with calls.
Okay.
You don't, if you can hear your call echoing back at you, it's too loud. But this is the Fox Pro X2S, and I bought it because Ryan Stewart told me this is the one to have, and it's been great, and it's handy. It's got kind of built-in legs, and you can put it anywhere you want to or turn it, and then it collapses nice into a bag that they have for it.
Yeah.
But it's very loud, but like I said, people mess up too long, too loud, and then time of the year is big. So I'll play it.
So right now it's what, March 19th?
Mm-hmm.
If you went out tonight, March 19th, like what would your thoughts be?
Right now this time of the year, I'm going to do something they haven't heard for 4 months. I wouldn't go out and run a dying rabbit. I would stay off of vocals because they've all mated pretty much.
Okay.
Which is weird because female coyotes they don't have like a breeding season really. Yeah. Like if a female goes out and does like a roll call at night and they don't hear anything, they think they're alone, a female can force herself to go into heat and then reproduce. Like they're a true like varmint.
Can you imagine if women could do that?
Yeah.
Like force themselves to be like, I am ovulating right now.
Right now. I'm gonna bite the back of your neck.
Shout out to our wives.
That's right. There are times I just go inside and just give out an aggressive a challenge call. Just go ahead. Go. She just starts stalking her. Just go. Just give her just challenge her up real good.
A month later, well,
yeah,
I'm pregnant.
Like, oh man, you and your dang force hormones. This time of the year, I'm not going to do something they've heard. I'm not going to do lightning jack or something that people have been throwing at them forever. This time of the year, you're doing woodpecker, bird, like real light bird call.
Really?
Something, yeah.
Turkey call maybe even, because here in 3 weeks, I've called them out with a turkey call.
Yeah, this is
I didn't know that's what you would do.
This right here, this is called on the Fox Pro. This is called Nutty Nuthatch.
Ah, the old nuthatch. Kind of like a titmouse, huh?
Yeah. But that's it.
Birds, huh?
Yeah. And it's got a real good part of it. It's coming up here in a second, but there's one part when it comes, I turn it up a little. But you just let it play.
Oh,
30 seconds. That right there. I'll turn it up. And when it goes, I'll turn that back down.
Dang.
Dude, I'll put that on like 70% volume. Play it for 30 seconds, off for 5 minutes.
Dude, I love this right now. Not to like fanboy over this, but like anytime I've researched like what to do back when like we tried some daytime stuff, 5-10 years ago, whatever, it's like, hit him with this. If that don't work, hit him with this.
Yeah.
What you're saying right now, the seconds and the volume of that all matters. Like when you YouTube like how to coyote hunt, like hit them with cottontail in distress, hit them with pup distress. It's like you do that, but nobody specifies because they don't want to let their secrets out. Nobody specifies like how loud, how long. So you're out there like doing cottontail for 3 minutes, and probably after a certain amount of time, they're like, okay, this is no rabbit is screaming for 3 minutes. This is preposterous.
Their lungs are that big, so they're not out there doing the dying screams forever.
Yeah. So besides the bird, what's your like your Hail Mary thing if like nothing is working?
Hail Mary for me has always been pup distress or screaming pups. Pup distress 3 or screaming pups.
Basically like triggering like a instinctive protective behavior and like especially females probably.
Yep. They'll you let that hammer. That's like if it's freezing and I'm done, I'll hammer pup distress and as like a Hail Mary. But that's this time of year is just weird because everyone's in 9 months we'll be shooting 9-month-old pups that are almost full grown, and those are the ones they'll just single file line, just run straight out.
Dumb, stupid, hungry, right to you.
Yep. Yeah. We got out of about October. That's when your cagey. This is if I could have probably 4 calls. If I could only have 4 calls on this, one would be that nutty nuthatch. I really like it. This is probably my favorite. It's cagey cottontail.
Ah. That's pretty typical. Yeah. That's a typical rabbit call that most people are probably familiar with. Yep. How long do you do that for, though?
I'll do about 30 seconds to a minute on, off for 5 minutes, and give them time to hear it, and then start walking.
Okay.
And then right when they kind of get to the point where maybe they're giving up, you hit it, and for another 30 seconds, a minute, and they go, oh, it's close. It's still there. And usually that second time, I feel like that's when they'll really come, and you'll learn. Like when we go out to the farm, and it's stuff that it's not to toot your own horn, but you just learn it the hard way.
Yeah.
You learn they're going to come from over that. They're going to come from up that creek up here. They're going to come from
knowing the ground is kind of probably pretty important.
Wind, creek beds, or here in Indiana, even like where they're dug, where the drainage ditches or whatever, they'll run up a drainage ditch. Because there's times you'll look in a field that you can see forever, nothing, and then you look back, and then 120 yards from me, there's a coyote standing. It's because it went down into a bed.
Yeah, it ran on the side of that drainage ditch for 500 yards. Mm-hmm. Nobody could see it, and pops up. Yeah.
Yep. So there's cagey, nutty, nuthatch. I'll just go through them real quick so I don't keep going through. So that was cagey cottontail.
Yep.
Lightning Jack is a very aggressive.
Is that supposed to be like a jackrabbit or something, or?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
That's exactly what it is. Yeah. That's a louder, more aggressive.
I bet that's something going to work crazy out in the Midwest, like in the Dakotas and stuff. Because we got jackrabbits out there. I bet.
I bet that one you can really. I'd like to go out west and go where you can really. You got to put that thing on full volume and just go for it.
Hopefully we can get that happening this fall.
Yeah. So this whole we want to quit our jobs and make hunting videos that could pay off for us. But and then you get into vocals. Vocals are more of it's almost breeding season, that December, January, February time.
The rut, essentially.
The coyote rut. You get female sorehowl.
That's a female?
Yep. That rings out on like a January night.
You've played that when we hunted back in January, I think. You played that.
Yep. And then and then I'll do Pup Distress 3. Which actually these Fox Pros have it's called Fox Bang on it, which we won't get into.
What does the Fox say?
It says bangs. So it's got Fox Bang. So if this is on your neck and you shoot, it'll feel the shot, and then it'll just throw Pup Distress on. Because what Pup Distress I mainly use for, which this is it. It's a hurt coyote. Mm-hmm. So if you get 3 coyotes coming in and you shoot that first one or the last one or whatever, generally, the females will come in first and the males will sit. It's just like deer. They'll let the females go through and look out for danger.
Yep.
But generally, a female will come in. Say you shoot that back male and the 2 females go out and they run. You hit that Pup Distress, and even if they got in the woods, they're like, "Where's Bill? Where's Bill?" And they're looking for their buddy.
Yep.
So they'll come back out toward the sound of the call because they think their friend's out there, and that's how you'll roll into it.
That's how you get multiples. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Which I've only had 2 triples, I think. Doubles are getting more and more common the longer you do it, but triples.
If you have 3 coyotes in a field, how do you know which one to shoot first?
It depends on. If they're all, like I said, usually a female will come out first.
Okay.
Or 2 females will come out, and then you'll look back and you'll see a male just kind of standing there watching, and that male will let him come out. That's where
Let's say there's at 100 yards, there's one, and about 30 yards from her sideways, there's another, and then maybe 100 yards back from them, there's a third one coming. Mm-hmm. What one do you shoot at first?
If that's kind of where the faster bullets come into play, because if the farthest one is 200 yards, I'll shoot the farthest one first and then go to the closest one and try to get the middle one to come back.
Okay.
Because if you, especially with a silencer, you shoot that first one, they hear that.
Yep, they're running.
First ones, you can always get a real good shot on that first one, or try to, and just drop it. It's done. And then you come back to the one that was 80 yards, 100 yards from you.
It's now running.
It might run 100 yards and then stop and look back to see what that was. So now it's at 200 yards.
Uh-huh.
So you shoot that one.
Okay.
And then you play that call, and a lot of times that third one will actually come real close.
Or you take a Hail Mary with it.
Or you just take a Hail Mary,
because it's a coyote, and people need to chill about like, oh, you shot a running dog, you might have wounded it. Like, hopefully it bleeds out and dies because that's one less predator out here.
Yeah, it's
like settle down on the whole ethical.
Yeah.
That drives me crazy, man.
Well, and
it's a rabid dog.
You know more about the whole farm life than I do. I don't know much about it, but I'm at the point now where people are actually calling me, being like, "Hey, I got your name from this guy. I've got 10 lambs out here, and we heard coyotes." Yeah. I know people say they have to go out in the backyard and bang pots and pans because there's coyotes so close to their house.
How preposterous is that?
Yeah, preposterous. But it's preposterous. But it's really getting to the point. Yeah, it's getting to the point now where people are calling me saying, "Hey, I need you to come get these things."
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, kind of awesome for your hobby too. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I joke with people about being the 911 of coyote calls.
Yeah,
which generally, if people call and say they're screaming out here, you can usually, if you're there within 30 minutes an hour, you can usually get them to come.
Man, that's awesome.
It's fun. It's nice too because I don't go to sleep at 9. I'm not wired that way. So a lot of times if my wife or the boys are in bed or something like that, they go to bed. I'm so close to so many lanes. I can get them side by side and go out, or you kind of get sections. I'm going to go 10 miles from the house and hit these 3 spots, and you kind of I mean, I've got
that's awesome
50 spots probably I can go to now, so you can just kind of knock them out in sections.
Right.
And it's I'll also give you another hack for trying to get permission if you're getting started. If you, like I said, don't go out there in your work clothes stained up with grease on your face. Say, hey, I'm Ben. I'm a big coyote hunter. You mind if I come out here coyotes only, nighttime? You won't see us, you won't hear us. And when you get a first person, you say, okay, what was your name? Look up it on Onyx. But if it's the Wilsons, say, okay. You go to the next house. Say, hey, my name's Ben. I have permission to coyote hunt the Wilsons.
Uh-huh.
So now, do you care if I come out here? You won't see us.
Trust
them. Yeah, they say yes. Okay.
Yep.
Well, now you go to the third place. Hey, I hunt the Wilsons and the O'Haras.
Yep.
And that you can kind of build.
Yeah.
You can kind of build on that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's kind of a little trick of the trade there too.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, you got anything other tidbits for coyotes?
I don't think so. I mean, really, just it's like if I could give tips, it would be if it's over 10-mile-an-hour wind, just don't go.
One last question, because most people are probably like me and they're too cheap to get started on this whole thing. Name drop, if you can. It's out of your wheelhouse a little bit because you're above it a little bit, but what is the best optic to use that costs under $2,000? Just you gotta like.
I've heard honestly, I've heard people talk about rattlers, ATN rattlers. I've never.
I just saw somebody posting that for sale the other day. I wondered about that.
I would
that's my game. Like if I get one at all, it's gonna be a cheapie.
I would go if I would look into like a used Pulsar like XQ38. You can get those used around $2,000-ish.
Okay.
But I like they both have their quirks. I mean, they're quirks. I think it was supposed to be
quirks.
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 I'm soccer.
They're quirks. They're quirk.
The Pulsar it looks good on bolt guns. It looks good on ARs too, but it's got color palettes you can do.
Yep.
So this one has a purple rain.
Purple rain.
But it's got white hot, black hot, red hot, yellow hot,
purple
blue
rain's
hot,
my jam.
Purple rain we like. It's where everything's purple and the coyotes are yellow.
Yeah.
But so even though again this is the hottest buy there is, the XG50 for $3,300 on Euro.
Which 3,300 is pretty. I mean, I've seen that. Yeah, it's amazing.
So
you just got to be willing to drop it.
So the number like 50 versus 38, that's how much field of view you have. So this is the XQ50
millimeter.
The 38 is going to be a little smaller, but it does the job.
Mm-hmm.
And then that'd be what I would suggest, because like you get into
that's about your cheapest good one.
Yeah.
All the ones below 2,000 are.
Yeah.
And I know he's talking about like when he says you see a field mouse out there at 2,000. Like if you get below 2,000 things, I've seen enough videos. Like yeah, it's a thermal and you can see a coyote running out there, but like it is very important in my opinion about this whole thing. It's very important for target identification.
Yeah.
Because let's face it, there are dogs.
Yep.
There are people's house cats. There's there's bobcats. There's all kinds of different animals out there that like
deer.
Deer.
Yep.
You need to be able to positively identify this is coyote. So like.
Yep.
I have seen the videos. I've hunted with yours, and I've watched videos of the 1,800 ATNs and stuff like that. Like up within 100 yards, even the cheap ones, you could tell.
Yeah.
You can tell what it is, and for those starters, and I'm kind of with you a little bit. You could probably get by with a cheap one, and if you are disciplined enough to wait till they're within 100 yards. It'll ID it enough that you're probably good.
Yeah.
But like you're missing out on all those shots that you have with that thing. So
like the Halo. So Mark had a Halo first, and I had the Pulsar.
Yeah.
And I'd see something at 400 yards, like, oh, we got one, and he'd go, no, that's a raccoon.
Yeah.
And he'd laugh like, oh, Pulsar.
That big of a difference.
Pulsar.
Huh?
Yeah. I mean, it's 600 yards. You can tell you're between a raccoon and a coyote with
That's insane.
With the Halo. It's a little bigger, but it looks good on.
That's the black and white one, right?
Yeah,
it's pretty much all black and white.
Hot, and like it's got the rangefinders built in on the side right here. But I'll put in some video clips of all these throughout the video just real quick so you can see the different color palettes. But this is when you're, a HaloXRF. There's no easy way to say it. I mean, they're 10 grand. Like they're
the top of the line.
They're as nice as you can get. But this also gets in that whole the three purposes.
Sure.
Food and emergency, defense and emergency, as well as kite hunting.
It's just an investment like anybody else. Like I invested for my duck boat. Like it's just an investment. It's just whatever hobbies you have. You drop some money on some gear. Like if you want to, I know there's some salts in some places of the world that go out basically deer hunting in this with a 870, and they kill more deer than I ever will. They'll kill more deer than I ever will in my lifetime.
Yeah, and they do it.
Yeah. But there's some to be said for doing things. It's just whatever you want to do.
Yep.
It's whatever you want to do. But honestly, you're the most successful person I know at killing coyotes. So I just kind of want you to spill your brains on how the hell you're so successful with it, and this is what you
do. The last two quick things I'll tell you is tripod.
Oh,
if you're going to shoot 300 yards of the coyote, this one right here is the QDT. It's made by Two Vets, a veteran-owned company, which I like too. But this is nice. It's got two sections where you turn it and lock it.
Is that carbon fiber?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And again, light, because you're carrying a call, a rifle, and a tripod, unless you're with somebody. But this thing, when that thing is set up, it doesn't move. That's how you make a standing up 300-yard shot, by having a rock solid tripod.
The cheaper version of that is the Bog Death Grip.
Yeah, and people hate on the Bog, and I when you put it in the back of your truck and you drive around, it bangs. Both of mine have broke, but you can fix them. But I think that thing was with the ball head $800.
Or you just don't put it in the back of your truck.
Or you don't put it in the back
seat of your truck, and it never breaks ever. Like mine.
But the Bog's great too. It clamps real nice. That's what Jack shot his deer off of. He shot both of his deer off of it. And they're very good for the money. So if you want to do a Bog and throw ATN on there on a 5.56 rifle, have some ear plugs or whatever in your coyote, and you can get into it. For cheaper than that. I would pass night vision completely.
For somebody who is cheap and who doesn't want to spend a ton of money on this kind of stuff, let me tell you, like, what you can't do, because I've been out there, what you cannot do is think that you can cheat this with like a Primos shooting stick or a bipod or anything, because you literally have to have a tripod, because what you're doing out there the whole time is for people who haven't done it, you're literally doing basically a 180-degree scan, or if somebody's next to you, not quite 180 degrees, basically like probably 120 degrees scan of like almost to their barrel and then all the way over to the right of you. You're doing this constant scan through your scope the whole time. And if you have some kind of cheap bipod setup or shooting stick or whatever, I can't imagine how miserable that would be. Like the cheapest I could imagine doing it is with a bog, which I know some of you, and like I said, I got that gene in me a little bit. It's like a bog is like 100 and whatever bucks. It's like, I ain't paying no $100 for something to do. Yeah. I get it, but I'm telling you, go out there and try to scan a giant field with no tripod and see how miserable your life is.
It's undoable.
It is undoable.
It's
you'd have to have a scanner basically, and just stand there with a scanner, which that's another couple, $2,000 to $3,000. Stand there with a scanner, find one, and then have some kind of rest where you find one, and then you just put that on there and do it. That's the only way you could do it, but then you have to have a scanner and your thermal, so that's you might as well spend the money on the tripod.
It's tripod's big, and now you mentioned the scanner. So I had a scanner or something I can't imagine going without too, because if you're on a tripod, you're doing this, and if you're doing 360s, you're standing out there like an idiot doing 360s.
We have to switch when I go out with you. I'm like, dude, can I have your scanner? I can't keep on crouching and look at the scope anymore. Like my back and neck start hurting.
So I had the Pulsar Helion 2 Pro, and it's a good scanner. It has Purple Rain. It has it records sound. It is really nice, but it's hard to have that much money into a scanner that's just a scanner. So if me, you, and someone else want to go out, this is the Nox 35. It's also made by Envision that makes the Halo. It's on a lanyard right now, but it's got a quick detach, and you can put it on any Picatinny system. So you can turn
you put that joker on a M4.
You can put anything. Right now. So really, and you can turn the crosshairs on or off.
Okay.
So I just hold it around my neck
as a scanner.
Yeah, and I'll just look and look. But then if we're going out 3, where you got 3 people that can take turns looking,
you sight it in before you go out on an M4 or whatever AR you got.
Yep, we sight this in on your M4.
Yeah,
you go out there, we can go 3 and always have it out there. And then if I'm by myself,
that's pretty slick.
Yeah. So Nox 35, Envision, I don't think can be beat. Sorry, Ryan. Trijicon. Trijicon was the best 5 years ago, but they need to come out with color palettes. They need to get better at dealing with humidity, because humidity is the killer of thermal.
You told me that.
And there's no reason to not have, even this one, it doesn't have video or audio recording. You can buy a thing to clamp onto your rifle to run a cable
for posting video stuff. But if you just want to go out and kill them, hell, there you go.
Yep.
If you just want to kill them, then you take a picture with spotlights.
Yeah,
there you go.
Exactly. So there's really no right or wrong way. That's just what's worked for me. Luckily, Coyote Jesus was really good. There's been nights where I'll be out there and I'll get on Facebook and Ryan will shoot 3. I'm like, son of a bitch. Yeah. And I'll send him a text. I'm like, what's working? He'll be like, cagey cottontail, then this. I'm like, all right, I'll do that. And then the coyote will come out and I'll shoot it. And I'll send him a text. And I'll jokingly, I'll be like, I can't find a coyote tonight. What's working? Lord, hear our prayer. He'll say back, like, Lord, hear our prayer. Yeah, exactly. So he's been really good, but it's it's getting really big really fast, which kind of sucks for people that like to go out and do it, but it's good because it's getting coyotes out of here, and that is really what it's all about.
Yeah.
But so many people get weird about their tips and tricks.
Yeah.
And land, I get, like, if you've got a hot spot. Luckily, I live right next to a meat locker.
Yeah.
And I've shot so many coyotes within 5 miles of my house. It's crazy.
That's the thing with me. That's why I feel like you didn't have a problem with me asking that. It's not the tips and tricks. There's a million YouTubes of video. Like it's about the land. Like getting access to land is honestly probably access to land and equipment. I mean, golly.
I get people a lot to say, take me out, and if they have their own land, I'll definitely go out and take them out. But I'll take you out.
Take me out right now.
Take me out. I'll definitely, but it's work you got to go knock on doors and find spots, and you get that feeling sometimes when you look down, you see like a creek bed down there, it runs straight into a big 30-acre piece of woods out here that you're like, oh,
right,
here they are. So
yeah.
It's cool. There's no right or wrong way. I'm sure somebody out there has never used any of the calls I've used and has all different stuff than I have, and they've shot more than me. But
sure,
if you're
always
looking to get into it, tripod. Don't call too long. Don't call too loud, and just be patient. There's nights it'll take 40 minutes. For a coyote to come out. There's nights we all went out and we shot 9 in a few hours. And one of those nights you just go out there, you hit cagey, and 2 come running at you, and you're high fiving. And then you hit a slum. You go out 3 weeks in a row and you don't see a coyote, and you're boo-hooing. So yeah, sweet,
man. Well, dang, if you didn't cover all the bases of coyotes, I don't know what would.
Yeah, that
was good stuff.
That's all I know.
And I've hung out with you and listened from you a lot, but I honestly learned a couple things today. So that's awesome, man. I appreciate it. It's good stuff.
The biggest hack is just have your best friend have everything.
Just go. If you can do anything, especially if you're cheap, just have your best friend magically get obsessed with this hobby, and then you just get to go with him. It's really the best. That's the best tactic for killing coyotes is spend zero money and go with your best friend who spent all the money and learned all the things. That's the best tactic.
That's the secret. You can take whatever gun you want.
That's right.
That always works too.
That's how to do it.
If you have any questions or anything we didn't touch, feel free to comment on here, and we'll try to get back the best you can.
In the comment section on YouTube, or, even if you want to message us on Facebook, Instagram, Outdoors Actuals, on all those things. Hit us up. Comment on it. Tell us what you like. Tell us, if you have any success. If you watch this and it literally helped you get your first coyote, that would be a really cool thing. Hell, we'd like to reach out with you and talk to you about it, and at least record our phone call and get you on this podcast. That'd be a really sweet thing. It'd be cool to hear a success story from it. So let us know what you think. Even if you have plenty of hate, we love any comment, positive or negative.
Lots of hate.
Bring it all on, baby.
Lots of hating in the comments.
Bring it on, positive or negative. But thank y'all, and we'll see y'all next time.
All right, thanks.